The Law of One. Book 4. Session 97. September 15, 1982. Ra, I am Ra. I greet you in the love and in the light of the one infinite Creator. We communicate now. Questioner, could you first please give me the condition of the instrument? Ra, I am Ra. It is as previously stated. Questioner, what is the situation with our fifth density negative friend? Ra, I am Ra. It is as previously stated. Questioner, are there any items in the first 4 cards not of Ra's intention that we could remove to present a less confusing card as we make our new drawings? Ra, I am Ra. We find much material in this query which would constitute repetition. May we suggest rephrasing the query? Questioner, possibly I didn't phrase that the way I meant to. We had already determined the items that should be removed from the first 4 cards, and my question was, had I missed anything that should be removed that was not of Ra's original intention? Ra, I am Ra. We shall repeat our opinion that there are several concepts which, in each image, are astrologically based. However, these concepts are not without merit within the concept complex intended by Ra, given the perception by the student of these concepts in an appropriate manner. We wish not to form that which may be considered by any mind or body or spirit complex to be a complete and infallible series of images. There is a substantial point to be made in this regard. We have been, with the questioner's aid, investigating the concept complexes of the great architecture of the archetypical mind. To more clearly grasp the nature, the process, and the purpose of archetypes, Ra provided a series of concept complexes. In no way whatsoever should we, as humble messengers of the one infinite Creator, wish to place before the consideration of any mind or body or spirit complex which seeks its evolution the palest hint of the idea that these images are anything but a resource for working in the area of the development of the faith and the will. To put this into perspective, we must gaze then at the stunning mystery of the one infinite Creator. The archetypical mind does not resolve any paradoxes or bring all into unity. This is not the property of any source which is of the third density. Therefore, may we ask the student to look up from inward working and behold the glory, the might, the majesty, the mystery, and the peace of oneness. Let no consideration of bird or beast, darkness or light, shape or shadow keep any which seeks from the central consideration of unity. We are not messengers of the complex. We bring the message of unity. In this perspective only may we affirm the value to the seeker of adepthood of the grasping, articulating, and use of this resource of the deep mind exemplified by the concept complex of the archetypes. Questioner, thank you. Card number 5, the significator of the mind, indicates, firstly, as I see it, simply a male within a rectangularly structured form, which suggests to me that the significator of the mind in third density is well bounded within the illusion, as is also suggested by the fact that the base of the male is a rectangular form showing no ability for movement. Would Ra comment on that? Ra, I am Ra. O student, you have grasped the barest essence of the nature of the significator's complete envelopment within the rectangle. Consider for the self, O student, whether your thoughts can walk. The abilities of the most finely honed mentality shall not be known without the use of the physical vehicle which you call the body. Through the mouth the mind may speak. Through the limbs the mind may effect action. Questioner, the entity looks to the left, indicating that the mind has the tendency to notice more easily catalyst of a negative essence. Would Ra comment on that observation? Ra, I am Ra. This is substantially correct. Questioner, there are 2 small entities at the bottom, one black and one white. I will first ask Ra if this drawing is correct in the coloring. Is the black one in the proper position with respect to Ra's original drawings? Ra, I am Ra. That which you perceive as black was first red. Other than this difference, the beings in the concept complex are placed correctly. Questioner, the red coloration is a mystery to me. We had originally decided that these represented the polarization of the mind. Would Ra comment on that? Ra, I am Ra. The indications of polarity are as presumed by the questioner. The symbolism of old for the left-hand path was the russet coloration. We shall pause at this time if the questioner will be patient. There are fairly serious difficulties with the instrument's throat. We shall attempt to ameliorate the situation and suggest the revelaking of the circle of one. The circle of one was revelated and breath expelled 2 feet above the instrument's head. Ra, I am Ra. Please continue. Questioner, what was the nature of the problem? Ra, I am Ra. The fifth density entity which greets this instrument affected a previous difficulty distorting the throat and chest area of the instrument. Some fraction of this distortion remained unmentioned by the instrument. It is helpful if the instrument speaks as clearly as possible to the support group of any difficulties that more care may be taken. However, we find very little distortion left in the chest area of the instrument. However, immediately preceding the working the instrument was offered an extreme activation of what you may call the allergies, and the mucus from the flow which this distortion causes began to cause difficulty to the throat. At this juncture the previous potential for the tightening of the throat was somewhat activated by reflex of the yellow ray, chemical body over which we have only gross control. We would appreciate you reminding us to cause this instrument to cough before or after each query for the remainder of this working. Once conscious, this instrument should have no serious difficulty. Questioner, I was wondering why the dark entity was on the right side of the card in relation to the significator. Could Ra comment on that after making the instrument cough? Ra, cough, the nature of. We pause. 10-second pause. I am Ra. There was a serious pain flare. We may now continue. The nature of polarity is interesting in that those experiences offered to the significator as positive frequently become recorded as productive of biases which may be seen to be negative, whereas the fruit of those experiences apparently negative is frequently found to be helpful in the development of the service to others bias. As this is perhaps the guiding characteristic of that which the mind processes and records, these symbols of polarity have thusly been placed. You may note that the hands of the central image indicate the appropriate bias for right and left hand working, that is, the right hand gestures in service to others, offering its light outward. The left hand attempts to absorb the power of the spirit and point it for its use alone. Questioner, the 8 cartouches at the bottom would possibly signify the energy centers and the evolution through those centers with the possibility for positive or negative polarization because of the white and black coloration of the figures. Would Ra comment on that after making the instrument cough? Ra, cough, I am Ra. The observations of the student are perceptive. It is informative to continue the study of octaves in association with this concept complex. Many are the octaves of a mind or body or spirit complex as beingness. There is not one that does not profit from being pondered in connection with the considerations of the nature of the development of polarity exemplified by the concept complex of your card number 5. Questioner, do the symbols on the face of each of these little cartouches such as the birds and the other symbols have a meaning in this card that is of value in considering the archetypes? Could you answer that after making the instrument cough? Ra, cough, I am Ra. These symbols are letters and words much as your language would receive such an entablature. They are, to a great extent, inculturated by a people not of your generation. Let us, in the rough, suggest that the information written upon these cartouches be understood to be such as the phrase, and you shall be born again to eternal life. Questioner, thank you. I thought that the wings on top of the card might indicate the protection of the spirit over the process of evolution. Would Ra comment on that after having the instrument cough? Ra, cough, I am Ra. We shall end this session for we are having considerable difficulty in using the sympathetic nervous system in order to aid the instrument in providing sufficient of your air for its respiration. Therefore, we prematurely suggest ending this session. Is there any brief query before we leave this instrument? Questioner, it's not necessary to answer this if you want to end right now for the instrument's benefit, but is there anything that we can do to improve the contact or make the instrument more comfortable? Ra, I am Ra. All is well. The support group functions well. It is suggested that the instrument be encouraged to take steps to recover completely from the distortion towards the aching of the throat and, to a lesser extent, the chest. There is no way in which we or you may remove that working which has been done. It simply must be removed by physical recovery of the normal distortion. This is not easy due to this instrument's tendency towards allergy. The alignments are being carefully considered. I am Ra. I leave you, my friends, glorying and rejoicing in the love and the light of the infinite Creator. Go forth, then, in the great dance, empowered by the peace of the one infinite Creator. Adonai.